Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole. The statements in the following broadcast are not necessarily the opinions of the Madness Comic Network, its staff, sponsors, or contributors. This show is rated TVMA, as are all of them and all those other letters. Viewer discretion is highly advised. And, just do what Doc says. Read that again. Peace, everybody. Hey, folks.
Who am I, you ask? I was created in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the waste of a dying world. I was bestowed with an insurmountable task: bring peace after decades of death, persecution, and chaos. I am a grandchild of war, destined to help two camps which hate has fueled for far too long. Surprisingly, I am not alone. Have an odd bunch to make the road a little more bearable. Come with me, to bring hope where there was despair, respect where there was resentment, creativity where there was destruction. I am Pinocchio, and this is my story.
Welcome to another episode of Geek-Men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I am Dustin.
And I am Zombie.
How
How we doing, Dustin?
Every time you think I have it figured out and it's all set to go, I get things popping up saying, oh, this destination isn't accurate. And this, so I have to try to click on stuff, and then I can't see the things. And it's just one of these days I'm going to be professional, but today's not the day.
Nah,
hey, Jessica.
We're professionally unprofessional.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Jess. Hey, Pam. Oh,
well, okay. I thought Pumaira was coming.
Another crazy week.
Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I'm going to message Pumaira to find out, dude, are you coming or what?
Dude. Whew. Man, I tell you what, I haven't had a chance to even stop since last Friday. It's been crazy busy here. I won't bore you with the details, but I've been away from home more than I've been home. That's counting the amount of time I've been home to sleep, if at all.
Oh boy.
Just a little bit. I'm a little too high on the camera. There we go.
Yeah, so Derry is still on a side quest.
We miss you, Derry.
Yeah,
Godspeed.
and Humaira's still working, so hopefully she'll be popping in here when she can.
Okay.
So,
Cool. No pressure.
yeah.
Gotta handle adulting first, you know.
Do you really have to?
You kind of do.
It's
Our
overrated.
society kind of dictates it, but you know, work hard, play hard. There you go.
Right.
Straight out of the '90s with that one, right?
Oh yeah.
So, oh yeah. I know how you feel. My grandma has been to doctors almost every day this week. Yes, I mean that's kind of I was hesitant to say the same thing, but we've been doing the same thing. It's ever since last Friday. It's been almost every single day to the doctors for one reason or another. Some of it's just for yearly checkups and stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing serious. I don't think.
As of
We're
yet.
cool. We're cool.
Yeah, right. Oh boy.
But it's just so time consuming, and then you have to factor in travel. Dustin, I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So right out of the gate, I want to break script here because there is no script. I want to talk because by Monday it'll be too late and it will already have happened. So if you missed the Monday show where I said there's a figura obscura release coming, it'll be any day now. See, the Four Horsemen have announced, indeed, there is a figura obscura release coming tomorrow. Now,
Hey Pops.
Normally we reserve the toy talk to Mondays, but this figura obscura is kind of its own thing. Like even if you're not like big into toys, these kind of fit in like in other types of things. Like when they did the Father Christmas, I mean, you could set him out with the rest of your Christmas decorations or whatever.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the Headless Horseman release. It's obviously Halloween.
I need to find out. Speaking of,
right. And then last year's around Halloween was Mask of the Red Death, another spooky kind of thing that you could set out for Halloween if you wanted to. Or if you're just kind of generally into horror, that's based off of an Edgar Allan Poe short story. And then around the Christmas time, they released the Ghost of Jacob Marley from A Christmas Carol. Again, another thing that if you're into, I know a lot of people watch the Christmas Carol movie.
Depending on which one you watch.
So, I mean, that's another thing,
Right.
Technically, you could kind of put him out with the holiday decorations or whatever. Now, Figura Obscura is not exclusively a holiday figure line.
Yeah.
They have kind of broke away with that with the Egyptian gods that they did.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about those.
Anubis and Bastet. So, again, not holiday themed. So, it's not always based around the holidays.
Well, they came out with Sun King, right?
What's that?
The Monkey King or whatever?
The Monkey King, right. That one was kind of tricky because they did kind of release that one around like the Lunar New Year, and it's based off of the Monkey King from A Journey to the West. So that one was sort of kind of based around a holiday. People were kind of making that connection or whatever. But I know for a fact that one of the horsemen, their main sculptor, Eric Treadaway, is big into the Halloween stuff. So he's always got something creepy cooking up around the Halloween spooky season. I have a feeling this one's going to be no different. There's been all kinds of speculations because the teaser image, and they always release a teaser image the day before the official release.
Yeah.
People make all kinds of guesses. Some get it right, a lot get it wrong. The only teaser image was a purple background with like lightning or electricity streaking across it. But they always put a symbol of like an old style key, like one of those big hooped ended keys with the part coming off, and it's got the teeth
Skeleton
on it,
key.
like a skeleton key. Yeah. Well, this one has like the key part to it looks kind of like an F. And then you've got the key ring part is the O. So like figura obscura. It's
Yeah.
kind of their symbol for that line.
Yeah.
They always kind of put that somewhere in the teaser images, and it was wrapped around one of the bolt of lightning or electricity. So a lot of people are guessing, oh, maybe it's like a Ben Franklin figure, which I personally think would be kind of weird. Others
Yeah.
are predicting something along Dr. Frankenstein or Dr. Frankenstein's monster because of some of the wording. They do try to they put in like really obscure like hints in it.
Yeah.
So if you're not real sharp, you won't catch it. And in this one, they said, another figure obscura sale goes live in like quotation marks in one of their posts. So, people are like, oh, it's got to be something to do with Dr. Frankenstein or something, because it's alive kind of thing, which would be kind of interesting. But my own personal prediction is years ago, the Four Horsemen team used to work for a company with Todd McFarlane, the creator of a comic book character called Spawn. They've got toys out. They've had toys out for years and years and years. The Four Horsemen people used to work for Todd McFarlane, and they made these play sets, these monster play sets. They were smaller scale or whatever. One of them from Series 2 was a Dr. Frankenstein play set, and Eric Treadaway sculpted his likeness on the body of Dr. Frankenstein himself. I personally would like to see that happen because I know everybody would love that figure instantly because it would be Eric Treadaway.
Yeah.
He is the lifeblood of Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, and now Figura Obscura because he is their main sculptor. Like all of that is straight out of his brain, all of the stuff that he makes. So again, the release is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe, tomorrow. These items are in stock, and it's not just a toy. It's not just a figure. Usually they have some type of like a coffee mug or like a tumbler with a printed image of something that relates to that release. There's pins, there's shirts. The shirts aren't sold directly by them. It's called Retro Rags Unlimited.
Yeah.
Unlimited or limited? I'm not sure. We'll look into that and maybe bring it back up after the release on Saturday. We'll bring it back up on Monday a little more in depth because by then it'll be revealed and everybody will know what it is and everybody will either love it or hate it. So
like Retro Rags Limited.
Limited. Okay, there you go. So it is a separate website, but it is their official outlet for t-shirt designs based off of stuff. So it's always an exciting time because nobody really knows what it is until they release it on sourcehorseman.com, which is not Source Horseman, storehorseman.com is their store, their storefront website that you can go to buy that stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to find out what it is. I don't it's always a mystery, and then you wake up and I'm log in kind of what is it? So you have a knee-jerk reaction of, okay, yeah, I'm going to order this, or I don't know. But they usually do 2 releases. So if stuff sells out in the AM release for us, they do a second round during the evenings, usually like 7 p.m. or something like that. And they do that. They divide it up to give their fans on the other side of the world, because 9 a.m. for us is like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning for them. On the other side of the world, they're asleep, so they give them that later window for us because that's their morning. They're waking up, they're logging on to find out what it is. We just happen to get it first.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that on Monday, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was actually my plan, was to, but I don't know.
I beat you to it.
Yeah. Oh well, it's all good. But yeah. So
what you watching? Anything new?
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, actually I did watch a couple things, and I finally remembered what I was wanting to say I watched the previous week. Like the day after the podcast. So I had previously watched The Good, the Bad, the Ugly for the first time.
Oh.
And so it was a good movie. It was interesting. I had never seen it before, so yeah. And
I'm
then,
not sure that I have myself.
Yeah, it was on Tubi, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this. I haven't seen it, and I know the Matrix, not Matrix. Oh, good grief! John Wick referenced a scene from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly in the most recent the most recent John Wick movie, and it's where he's like clicking the gun and completely dismantling it and picking out the other weapons from other guns that are, I guess, compatible, and he's swapping stuff in and out and listen to it click and click and click. And I thought that was the coolest scene in the movie because he does it so quick. And then I was talking to Bo, and he's just like, "Yeah, that's a scene from, Good, Bad, the Ugly," and he sent me the clip to it, and I was just like, "Oh, okay." So that's finally where it's from. So, but yeah, so I watched that, and then this week I watched The Edge of Tomorrow. Finally.
Oh yeah.
I remember, and my mom won't recall this. She doesn't recall this, but I watched it because she watched it and said it was so good. And she doesn't like Tom Cruise at all. But I remember her saying, "I don't like Tom Cruise, but I liked this movie." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." So that like put this little weird bookmark in my brain, and I've been meaning to watch it. Well, I finally saw it on Netflix or something, and so I'll just say, "Oh, you know what? I'll give this a watch." Because it could be cool, and maybe I'll rewatch it with Pumira later or whatever. Who knows? And yeah, well, my mom's with you. She can't stand Tom Cruise either. So yeah, so I watched it, but it reminds me of a combination of Groundhog Day and The Matrix, because they have these weird, creepy things that like crawl out, like the Sentinels from Matrix, where they're like swarming the ship and stuff. Well, that's what the creatures in the creatures they were fighting, they were called mimics, and that's very much how they moved and stuff. And I thought that was pretty weird, and a weird correlation to it. But yeah, and
you're not wrong.
Yeah, so also I've been watching Parks and Rec. It's just a half-hour show. It's an older show, and we watched Only Murders in the Building. recently. But some things to watch or things to look out for. Tulsa King, The Old Man. That has John Lithgow and he was in John Lithgow and he was in what's that movie called?
Not sure. You got to give me something to go on.
Yeah, I'm working on it. It was like a cyberpunk type movie that had the discs that they threw.
Tron,
yes.
Yeah, there
The
you go.
dude from Tron. What is his name? I cannot remember.
Oh, that I couldn't tell you.
I'll just type in dude from Tron.
There you go. Sometimes I can find that missing
Jeff
piece
Bridges.
of the puzzle.
Jeff Bridges. So it has John Lithgow and Jeff Bridges in it, and yeah, Tron. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, even Jessica says.
Yeah. So it has those two characters in it, and also the girl that was in I know this is so helpful, but the girl that was in that one show. So clearly everyone will know what I'm talking about.
Nope. Give me something to go on.
It was Ron. It's produced by Ron Howard. And it was the little girl from that movie or TV show that she was in with Ron Howard, and who's producing or directing it or something. He definitely narrated it, but
yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
it's not enough for me to figure that one out.
Yeah, I know. That's the curse of my brain. Something family. How about I just type in old
Modern Family? I don't know.
No. Okay, so this comes on Thursday. I don't need that to play. I need you to give me the okay, her Aliyah Shawkat is her name in real life. But what was she in?
Jessica's asking, is it Parenthood?
No.
We need I wish we could get like a little icon with a hamster and a wheel running.
Yeah, well, you know.
Just show when you're trying to think.
That would be buffering literally all the time when it comes to me. So, Arrested Development.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that, so I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
We got there.
Oh, geez. So, yes. Arrested Development. That was my brain that was just, yeah.
She just posted Arrested Development.
Yep. So that's what it was. So yeah, it has her in it, and it's just a good show. I can't quite explain it. Like, he seems to be like some sort of ex-special operative, and John Lithgow's an ex-special operative, and they are basically surrounded by this chain of past events that have come back around to completely screw them over, and they're now trying to be eliminated and stuff like that. So they're on the run and all this stuff. So that's how it sort of wraps up season 1, and season 2's just started. So I'm interested to dive in and see what that's like. But I also want to mention, what's that?
What show was that?
The Old Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But also I want to mention Tulsa King, such a great show, has Sylvester Stallone, and Penguin with Colin Farrell. that takes place in the Robert Pattinson Batman Matt Reeves movie shell, so to speak. But yeah, so it's, I forget what I was going to say there. But anyway, I'll just change subject because Batman 2 has finished. The script is done, and they're going to start filming in early 2025 for Batman 2. Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves Batman 2. So this all takes place in the same world. And the Penguin TV show leads directly into season 2 of, or show, the movie Batman 2. So it ties directly into it. So I'm eager to start that and watch it, but I think I'm going to be watching it a little bit behind, so I'm going to have to duck and dodge spoilers. But yeah, I want to watch Penguin, but I don't have Max. Yeah, I hear that. I just so happens that I do, so I'm wanting to watch it while we have it still, but c'est la vie, who knows? And Only Murders in the Building, it's still on, and yes, so that's good and exciting, and always eager to watch that. She loves our Pat. Yeah, that she does. But anyway, what about you? What have you been watching? Anything?
The world passed by from my steering wheel. That's what I've been watching. No, I haven't. I barely squeaked in these 2 movies this week.
Right.
I definitely had to watch them in shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to as well most of the time because falling asleep and getting old sucks, but is what it is. But yeah. So let me see what we have here. Let's see, I'm gonna check in with Pumira. All right, so let's see. Do I have any? And we have movies picked out. I'll say that.
Okay, good. I had a few that we could go through just in case. I do have one that is like it's a lock for me because it's one I've never seen, and it was one of those that's kind of popped up like on a Facebook feed or something.
Mhm.
Did you know that this movie yada 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 sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I saw it and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of interesting, and I forgot about it. And then I'd see it again and then I forgot about it. And then it popped up on Tubi. I'm going, that's the movie. All right. So any other news? Anything else?
I'll tell you, I did get I had something. I don't know where it's at. Oh. Okay, I picked up the latest issue of Chitara. I'll talk about that real quick since it's not a toy thing, but it's sort of
Entertainment.
my entertainment and toys. Because I mean, it feels so weird. Like because there was a long time where Motu has been Master of the Universe has been a major part of world history, so to speak, and it's been in the spotlight from toy companies and stuff like that. But it feels so good that either like with Super 7 and there's more Thundercats and stuff like that around. And so I'm just trying to ride the wave as much as I can, because I loved that show so much. So I'm reading the comics, and they're teasing a villain that's coming up that looks interesting, that hasn't really been in lore, but it looks different enough. So it's not like a female version of some other character. So it feels like a more legit character, like, to me. But anyway, so I'm excited, looking forward to that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started on the movies. Which one do you want to start with?
I picked them. You pick the order.
All right. All right, let's talk about Bone Snatcher, because I do have a note here, and it's in my notes, so I can. It's let's see. Tagline was, "It will scare you out of your skull." For this movie, and okay, do you want to talk about the premise of this movie?
Well, first of all, let me apologize to anybody that is sensitive to high-pitched frequency sounds, because I was not aware that there was one in this movie, and it's almost the entire duration of the movie, to the point where credits roll, and then it stops. So I don't know if you just tune it out at some point and you don't hear it anymore, or if it sticks around and bothers you all the way through the movie until credits roll. I apologize. I've seen this movie maybe 3 times now, and both previous times was on network television with no sound system whatsoever. So like I couldn't hear that high pitch frequency in it myself.
Yeah.
And I did now. So again, I apologize to those that were bothered by that. I try not to pick stuff like that. So yeah, the movie.
It's one of those things that it's like, it's going to be hard to do, because what bothers some people might not bother other people, and it's like trying to pick a movie that doesn't have flashing and stuff in it.
Right. So
you were discretion advised, so to speak,
for a totally different reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the movie is set up pretty much like a desert location or whatever, and some people come up missing, and there's like a research team that's involved. They're mapping out what they think could possibly be volcanic tubes below the surface of the desert, which made no sense to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, that shouldn't be there. That's strange.
Yeah.
So they go and they investigate it, and they come up missing. A secondary team gets brought in to try and track them down, find out where they are, what happened to them. And they find a couple of dead bodies that are basically nothing but skeletons left. Third guy's missing. They see footprints. They follow them. And like, this just crazy shit just starts happening. Like, they start seeing things. They start hearing things.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's this creature scaring the crap out of them. That's this, I don't know, shape-shifting kind of thing. So I don't know if I want to get too far into that yet because I want to
Yeah,
hear. I want to hear what you had to say.
Yeah. And Pumara is going to be joining us here in just a moment or two.
Okay.
So
I will say the premise of it was solid at first.
yeah,
Like there was that unknown aspect to it. That's like, holy crap, what is that?
right.
you know?
I remember writing down. Okay, so there were some weird flashes in the very beginning that it's like, okay, so are these flashes that person is seeing like in their brain, or is it just for the viewer, the general viewer? So I know Pumara and I are discussing that a little bit, and we were trying to figure it out. And but I'll come to that back to that in a minute. Okay, that's the very end of the movie.
That did seem kind of clunky to me too, because it was kind of like, okay, is this like forced foreshadowing that you're putting us through here?
Yeah,
Because none of it makes any bit of sense
no,
whatsoever. You're going, what the hell was that?
yeah, and it just keeps popping up. It's like, wait, okay, so is this something in the distance that's tracking them? Is this a flash that was clearly like a memory or something, but it had already happened apparently? And it's like, so what exactly is happening here? So we
Yeah.
were trying to figure that out a little bit. And let me see real quick.
So I like because there is a creature, okay, in a manner of speaking. I like the premise of the creature through the first half of the movie because it's very Clive Barker-ish kind of the thing at
Yeah.
first because it seems to change form for almost no reason at all. And when we get a good look at it, it's through the scope of a rifle. You see this one guy, they've tracked the footprints in. So he's looking at it. Hey, how you doing?
Busy.
Welcome back. Yeah, I know the feeling.
Thanks.
But the view that we get of it, it's clearly got two arms, two legs, and what appears to be a head, and you see it's like this skull, and it's kind of moving like that old Bigfoot footage where it's kind of lumbering and swinging its arms, and then it turns. That was cool. I like that part of it. Like that was well done, I thought, But yeah, and then they shoot it and it like just falls apart. And you're going, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah. So about that, I was just like, I was impressed because I thought, man, that wasn't bad. I mean, the special effects were a little rough, and there was some things that could have been done better. But I thought that clip in particular, especially when they shot it and it just disintegrated, and I was just like, that is kind of cool. And so I was interested to keep going with the movie.
Yeah, and then almost immediately it gets back up and runs off. You're going, oh my god, what is this thing?
So it turns out
I can see you shaking
had a
your
budget
head already.
It turns out they had a budget of $6 million. Have no clue about box office numbers. I know sometimes we talk about that, sometimes we don't.
Yeah, I don't. Very thing.
I don't think it got released in theaters.
No.
And
I believe this was like a straight to TV movie done by like the Sci-Fi Network or something because that's where I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was something like that. It was they had its release, but it went straight to video, and then it got re-released, and then later got a little bit wider release the following year, and then obviously we saw it on Tubi. So
right. But like I said, the premise to it is pretty good, about halfway through the movie until the reveal of what this thing is. Then it's kind of like, oh,
Really?
like you know.
All right, so what are your thoughts? You clearly didn't like it, apparently.
Well, I just thought it was stupid on how it was ants this whole time.
She
Right.
dove right into it.
Well, we're not known for pulling punches, so
I know. Well, okay,
Yeah,
so I will say that was a
it was
little
cool
lame.
up until you learned what it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. They also removed they threw back the sleeping bag that this dude was in,
Oh yeah.
and he's being eaten alive by these not mosquitoes. That's my personal terror. He's being eaten alive by these ants, and they're just crawling all over him, and it's just breaking down his skin and whatnot. And hey, Pumara, Pop says hi.
Hello.
Yeah, another kind of callback to Clive Barker's The Thing, with the the meshing of this creature in a human, this almost unidentifiable thing, but with familiar pieces, in it,
And then when the other guy reaches in, and they start devouring.
Yeah, like really, dude.
It's just like, oh man, don't touch him. Just move
right. Let's touch the unidentified things.
Right. At that point, I think it's just one of those things like self-survival type thing. I'm just gonna shoot you and put you out of your misery.
Right.
I'm done. You're done. The thing is, whatever's done.
That's really all you would have done was end his misery. They still would have taken his bones and his body and all that, because we find out the reason they take the bones is to give them form to help move around and everything, which you don't get a lot of the sense of that really through some of the scenes. Like what they do show you, it's almost like they wanted to keep that hidden, but then they were like, we'll just reveal it, and then they went back to, well, we kind of want to keep some stuff hidden again. So it's like, no, you done let the cat out of the bag now. Come on, you show us more of that. Like, get crazy with it, like have them combine 2 or 3 other people and make something that's not just in like a weirdly shaped human form.
Right.
And they
that would have
touch on that a little bit, but they don't.
I think that would have gone well over the $6 million budget.
I mean, I don't know.
Spend a little to make a little.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of get into it a little bit after you find out that the driver that they had got killed, and the other guy that she stayed back with, the guy that got his arm eaten up and everything. So obviously they got attacked and eaten and consumed by this thing, and that kind of showed them meshed together, but it didn't really come across as like a very final kind of thing. Like that's what happened. You just kind of see that woman's face, in part of these creatures or whatever. And I would have liked to have seen some more crazy combinations with the body parts, like make, something with, your ants, make something in your self-image, 6 legs or whatever, using human parts. But they kept the ants almost too human with keeping of something, the form of something.
Which, I mean, they obviously could have gotten creative and like had other bones and stuff to build out more legs and arms, because they had enough bodies at this point.
Right.
Could have had multiple heads that whipped around and looked at you all weird and funny. It could have been like really, really something weird, special, and out there. But they kept it humanoid, and it honestly it looked more like
black goo.
Well, yeah, it did look like black goo, but no, it's it looked like it whenever they like just showed like brief glimpses of it, like in the peripheral vision, it was like, especially when that stupid beeping Tom thing was going nuts,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh no, there must be something around here, and it's just like, yeah, put your head on a swivel and look, right, it's right in front of you, dude, and
Right.
your thing's only going nuts for some stupid reason. Anyway, that was the thing that was beeping that
Yeah.
Zombie was warning about. But yeah, it just looked like this padded, funky creature with like extra, like it looked like someone with standing there with like armor padding and stuff like that, like chainmail or something on, and you're like, what? That wasn't that wasn't what we just saw.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, it was interesting, in certain ways, and then whatever the native people were of wherever that was. I mean, I'm assuming it was like somewhere in Africa or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently the native people there kind of knew about this thing because they were putting out warning totems,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Which then they were carrying around those little wood carved ant heads or whatever it was. So they obviously knew something, and they were calling it by a name, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it was some weird name. It was like Zwahili, whatever.
Yeah. I just keep Ace Ventura.
It's just like blah blah blah.
Keeps coming up, and it's in my head.
Blah, blah. Yeah.
And it followed through all the way to the end of the movie, like that one little dude that had the stand or whatever, which the end of the movie was like really weird to me, because
Yeah.
you've got like our main hero guy or whatever he was. We're introduced to him, and he works in a lab, and there's some kind of meltdown happening, and he's basically, did you turn it off and turn it back on, sort of thing situation, and he's like, okay, hold on. And he's saying he's no good out in the field. He doesn't do field work yet. By the progression of the movie, he's suddenly an expert on ants and evolution and shit. And you're going, what are you talking about now? You were just fumbling with the computer in the beginning of the movie, and you can't get your device to work properly. What the hell are you talking about now? Just pulling shit out of his ass or something. I don't know. And then by the end of the movie, he's the one staying behind in the desert while the lady that lives there, works there, been there for years, is wearing a red dress and getting in the cab and leaving. It's like, what?
Right.
What is going on here?
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't really get that either, but I was thinking that, like, it's like, okay, was that dude when he tried to kill the ant hive queen, was he infected or something, and was he actually part of this whole scheme, do you think? Because at the very end you see him put a crate on the back of her car as she's driving away, and then it like zooms in and you sort of like get to see an X-ray type thing, and it's like, oh, hey, look, it's another alien queen hive brain thing that was controlling everything. And it's like, okay, so was he involved the whole time?
I thought that was weird too, because I mean, in the insect world, a queen can't just take care of herself. She has to have workers to take care of herself. But they only showed the queen. Like, okay, how long is she going to survive?
Right.
She's in this crate, being taken out of her environment, which, but at the beginning of the movie, they're in an enclosed environment. It's not until those three idiots break the ground searching for these tubes that they disturb their habitat, and then they start coming out.
Yeah.
Like, they're in an enclosed biome, and then, like, that's what starts the whole shit happening.
Right.
So how is this queen, who's packed in a shitty little crate to begin with straw, museum packing or whatever. Yeah, I'm like, that was the dumbest, stupid fucking shit. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll tone it down.
Okay, so it felt like they were throwing that in there because they were hoping for a second movie.
Number 2.
No,
But-
I don't even think that. It was like they were making this movie and said, well, we got to have some type of twist at the end. We got to put something in there. So let's do that because that's what everybody's doing at the time. Look, the people of the Sci-Fi Network are psychos. They're morons. These are the people that created that movie, and I reference this all the time. It's like Super Python versus Mega Komodo or something, some stupid crap like that, where the giant snake bites a dude's head off, and then we get the Wilhelm scream out of the guy with no head. Like, really? Are you serious?
Oh boy.
The Sci-Fi Network had this thing that they did with these movies, and they made a lot of movies. They funded a lot of these really, I wouldn't even classify them as B movies. I'm talking like C or D movies, okay? They funded a bunch of movies like this. This was one of the better ones, despite all of its flaws.
Yeah.
But the thing that they like to do in a lot of their movies is something that I call the Adam and Eve syndrome, where by the end of the movie, you've got, you start with this group of people or whatever. By the end of the movie, you got one man and one woman survive the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
This fell in that category because out of their group, one man and one woman survived the ordeal that they went through.
Yeah.
That bugged the crap out of me. Like, pre-streaming and all that stuff, like that's what I had my TV on, like either Sci-Fi or oddly enough like the Weather Channel or some boring crap like that. I don't know. But it was frustrating because there was, it'd be late at night or whatever, and that's kind of one of the only things that would hold my interest while I was working on stuff or whatever. So I saw a lot of these movies that always stood out to me. Like almost every single one of them, he ended up with one man and one woman survived the whole thing. I'm like, it's like this Adam and Eve thing. I don't know. It bugs me when that happens in movies.
Someone has to repopulate the earth.
Well, I mean, and on the flip side of that, I've seen some where nobody makes it out alive. It's like, nope, none of you are getting out of this.
Yeah.
So I've seen
quite
a
a few of those
handful that are like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. We're at an hour in. And so let's talk about the movie after.
What you wanna attempt to give us this a rating or?
Oh, right. Oh yeah, right. Let's do that. Share screen because I actually have it up still. Window. Okay, I have to do window and then this.
I tried to do the same thing early and I just said, forget it.
And then I will share. Okay, so I guess I'll start. I'll say maybe 2.5 stars. Maybe
I'm going to
maybe
say
3.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Only because of the semi-strong start for the creature.
Yeah.
Creatures, whatever, however you want to end up classifying that thing. Like the first half was okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2.5.
2.5. Now we're just waiting on Pumaira to get done yelling at the children. I don't know if she can hear.
Nope, she dipped out.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
There we go.
It did have to yell.
Okay, so we both gave 2.5. I got a feeling yours might be a little lower.
Yeah, Yeah, 2.5 is right where I'm sitting too.
Okay, that's clean sweep, 2.5.
Yeah.
Had it
All
not
right, so
been
we're getting ready to
ants-
move into the movie After.
All right.
Who wants to go first? Does anyone
Well,
think they can actually accurately sum up the movie?
whew, this one's
Fortnite meets. Seriously, the storm's coming, right? Fortnite meets what's the coma movie that everybody falls in love with at the end of the coma? Anyway,
I
Fortnite
don't
meets
know that one.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
some dudes in a coma, and then they wake up and fall in love. I don't know.
Sleeping
Anyway.
Beauty.
You had me at Fortnite. Oh my god.
Fortnite, the storm's coming, it's shrinking. You only have
I
so
didn't make
much
that
time.
connection at all. Like I don't play Fortnite, so
Yeah,
The
yeah, me
storm's
either.
shrinking. Let's go.
Well, there's a lot of other things that can shrink too, but
oh
anyway.
man.
Storms.
This movie turned out to be not what I thought it was gonna be.
No, but I liked it.
Like I thought it was like a life after death sort of thing, you know, what happens after you die, kind of like I'd made the connection with the Langoliers, you know, like maybe they're stuck in a time after present time or something like that with this creature chasing them or creatures. Yeah, no, it's there's this couple and these two young people, they don't know each other. They're on a bus. Turns out they're riding to the same destination. They start talking. They find out, oh, we live right down the street from each other or whatever. And then there's this crash. Screen goes black. Um, the woman ends up waking up and she's in her bed and she's like, wait a minute, how did I get here? You know, sort of thing. Gets up, goes to work. There's nobody around. She works at a hospital. There's no patients. There's no doctors, no nurses, nothing. Nobody. She goes outside. Nobody. There's nobody driving around. Nobody walking. Nothing. Goes back home. It's evening. And then she hears a noise. Come to find out, the guy that she was on the bus with, he's in his house blasting music, I guess, to try and get somebody's attention because he's experiencing the same thing. They bump into each other. They end up figuring out they don't remember how they got where they were after the bus. They remember being on the bus. They find their way back to the hospital and they figure out holy crap, we're both kind of trapped in a coma. What's going on? They travel to the edge of the town. There's this black shit blocking their way. This storm that's kind of like they zoom out and it's like a hurricane is all I can compare it to. And they're in the center, the eye of the hurricane.
What's going on?
And Dustin, you're not muted, just so you know. We can hear everything you say. Just fair warning.
So you can hear me now?
Yes. Yeah. There you go. All right. So they got to figure out a way. You know, how do we get out of this? What is it? The guy he has an idea. Let's go through the storm. Let's see what's on the other side. They come across the door. There's a bunch of keys laying around. They try one of the keys or something. He says, I've seen this before, you know, somewhere. He doesn't really remember. He's a comic book artist or whatever. Yeah. So we find out he drew this scene with this door later on.
Long time ago.
The chain. The chain's connected to a creature that the girl imagined when she was younger. As time goes on, you know, this creature chases them. That's the creature I remember seeing from the preview trailer that I watched. Let's see. So now they got this creature chasing them. They try to deal with the creature. we find out a little bit more of their past through like memories that they've had that they re-experience, and they find out that hey, we actually were kind of around each other during our childhood and we didn't know it, you know.
Yeah.
And there's this big tragedy that happened in the girl's life where her grandmother, I think it was her grandmother, was taking care of her, and there was
Her
an
aunt.
accident. Her aunt, yeah.
Oh, that was my aunt.
So there was an accident. Her aunt died, so she was kind of on her own for a little while, I guess, like with foster care. The boy was kind of in and out of trouble. He was kind of bullied, so he buddied with the bullies to keep from getting bullied or something. And that part was kind of weird. But you know, and then they find out how their lives were connected from their past through their shared memories. Because they're both in a coma. They're both in a coma, but for some reason they can experience each other's memories. So by the end of the movie, all those pieces come together. They figure out, you know, what caused the accident, how they knew each other from their past. They kind of fall in love, you know, like, maybe we were kind of meant to be. I can kind of relate to that part of it because my wife and I were kind of around each other in the same area. It's amazing. Like, we could have bumped into each other and not remembered it.
Wow.
Like one of the memories that I have when I was younger was in our town fair that would come. There was a building that had, you know, like booths set up, like for local businesses or something or whatever. Well, I remember this one booth had these, they were like paper thin sponges, and they had prints on them like money. Like, I don't even know what the business was, but I thought it was the coolest thing because once you got that sponge wet, like it expanded and it was like a sponge that you could use for cleaning or whatever. Like, I thought that was the coolest little thing in the world. They were dehydrated sponges, you know, and they puff up when you get them wet. I remembered those, and I brought that up in conversation with my wife one time, and she was like, "Yeah, that was our booth." I'm like, "What?"
That's funny.
My dad knew her mom, and all. It was just amazing that, like, I mean, we could have known each other when we were younger, and we don't even have a clue, you know, don't remember it. But we were always kind of around each other in the same areas growing up.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I can kind of relate to that a little bit. So that was like, oh, that kind of reminds me of me. But I mean, I think that's enough out of me. What did y'all think about this movie?
I like
Okay. I wrote down. Okay. So far, it was because we had to watch this in a couple parts. So far, I predicted what was going on from the get-go. It was pretty much evident there. It was like, okay. Then I was like, all right, I would have turned it off. I would have turned it off had it not been like, okay, well, what's it gonna be? How are they gonna figure out that they're actually dead or in this other afterlife or in a coma or, you know, whatever? I was like, so what's it gonna be in reality for them? So I stuck around for that, and I was thinking like, okay, is there going to be a twist? How does this all work in?
I mean, they kind of figured it out with the heart monitors from the hospital, you know, with heart rates and stuff. So that's kind of how they figured out how they were in comas.
Right. So they figured out that they're in a coma and all that, and then I put.
So it was very much a race against time because she had signed a do not resuscitate order.
Oh, right.
So they were at a certain date, they were going to pull the plug on her life support. So they were trying to figure out how do we get out of this before that date, because it had been 2 months or something like that. I think they said that
2 months
between the time of the accident and when they regained some form of consciousness.
Yeah.
So there was definitely a deadline. Like, no, we've got to figure this out. But
yeah,
continue.
and that's how they signified the storm closing in on them, and that's, they were in there measuring and stuff like that, and I'm just like, okay, first of all, I don't even know that. It's like general knowledge. So the fact that this dude is just like, oh yeah, it's clearly the slope is the square root of blah 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 blah. It's just like, what? Where? Okay,
He's a
you say
comic
so?
book writer.
What was that?
I said he draws comic books. He's a comic
Right.
book writer.
I
Learned that in school.
Yeah, I learned a lot of things in school, but I don't remember half of it.
Wow.
But anyway, I digress. So it was just one of those things. I was just like, all right. But overall, I don't think it wasn't that great, but it wasn't that bad.
I'd have to agree with that. Pumira, what about you? You seem to have liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked how they put both of their hobbies together, like past or present, and that's how they had to solve the little mystery to get out of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and especially when they dug up the original comic book that kid drew, and he had the door. It was like, okay, so are you telling me that there must have been some creature or something like that she wrote about, or something? And of course, it was in her play, and of course, I knew she was going to have to kill it.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't going to die by anyone else other than her hand, because he's off running to get that, and I'm thinking, it's not going to work, dummy. She's going to have to kill it. She is the knight.
Well, he couldn't shoot either, so.
Well,
yeah. That was kind of annoying. How many bullets do you got?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of figured that part out too. Like, she was the one that was going to have to be able to face that creature down and do something about it. Especially in the reveal of, with her and her aunt, and they were enacting her play or whatever, and her aunt was playing as the creature. And then we see what his involvement was, because her whole life she thought she was the one that caused the accident that killed her aunt.
Right.
But in a twist of fate, it was really him and his buddies just doing stupid shit like boys do. So they caused the accident, and at that point I thought like she was just gonna hate his guts over it. But it had the opposite effect, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it gave her some justification. Like, look, it was because she saw what actually happened. She was there and witnessed it.
Right.
And she could see that it was just the kids were being dumb and doing that stupid stuff and throwing rocks and all that. But so her adult mind was able to rationalize it and come to terms with the fact that not only was it not my fault, it was clearly someone else's fault, which she saw, but it wasn't all to blame on him either. He was just a kid, didn't know any better, should have known better, but still.
Yeah, don't throw rocks at people in their houses. Or I'm kind of dealing with that at work right now. These little snot-nosed kids are throwing rocks at our building. I can't park where I usually park. Thanks, you little brats. I don't want a busted windshield right now. I don't want to deal with that. So I have to park.
Those are expensive.
Where they can't get to me. But yeah. So, what do y'all? How do y'all rate this one?
4.
Baja Blast rating.
Okay, 4.
Let's see. We'll say.
Yeah, I like 4.
I'll say I'll say 3.5 stars.
I'm gonna be the party pooper.
I don't know. Maybe
I'm gonna go
more
3.
like 3 stars.
Yeah. See, that's kind of where I'm leaning. It's not bad. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
I went into it, I think, with expectations being a little too high.
Yeah, I think so too. I did too.
Yeah. Well, with the name like After, I thought they were dead. I'm not disappointed that they're not. They weren't dead, but even though the situation was serious, it almost didn't feel serious enough. Especially at
Well,
times.
they were already dead at that point. They thought. So.
Well, I mean, there was a point where they're almost joyriding, not really doing anything. They're joyriding in the car, even after they figure out, well, we're kind of stuck in a coma. We can't go anywhere.
Right.
We can't get out in the car. We can't get out in the boat. Unless we figure out how to fly. We're not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. So why not just?
I mean, dude, I would give anything to be able to go back to when gas prices were more reasonable and just cruise, just drive around. That was one of my favorite things to do as a teenager, was you just drove all over the place just because you could. Just because it was fun, something to do.
Yeah. I think that holds true for a lot of people.
Yeah. Now it's like, oh, I can't use up that last 2 drops of gas.
Right.
I'm hanging on to a quarter of a tank since
right.
July 4.
I'm planning trips between stores and post office drop-offs and work and dance practices and theater practices and doctor's appointments and
yeah,
trying to make the most of what I got.
I would have, basically canceled all of those other plans, all the extracurriculars. You're just gonna have to stay at home and do it. That's how it's gonna be.
So did you stick around to the post-credit scene? So you told Tubi, don't show me another movie yet. You went through all the credits.
Yeah. So I fast forwarded.
Okay. All right. I can say 100%. If I would have went through what they went through, I would have not gotten back on the damn bus.
Ever.
Ain't no way.
Nope. No subways either.
No, that's like if I survived a train crash, I wouldn't get on a damn train again either.
Right.
I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I was surprised that they went back. Not only it's like, okay, so now what's gonna happen?
Right. And there was the same noise in that bus as the one where they had the accident. There was like this thumping sound. It's like, oh God, here we go again.
Because I mean,
maybe
next time, who knows?
Monster.
They could definitely be deader than dead.
Who knows?
Count your blessings, I guess. Who knows? But
yeah,
I digress. New movies for next week. Myra has a suggestion.
Okay.
Pumpkinhead. Is it? Is that the one?
Oh, okay. Pumpkinhead.
Yeah,
it's on Tubi. What was that?
Okay.
It's about a demon that gets spawned.
Oh. Yep, and it spawned a string of sequels.
No way.
Yes.
Sweet.
So I think
a good one.
I don't know if the second one is on Tubi as well. There is another one. There's more than one on Tubi.
Wow.
I don't remember. There's like a Pumpkinhead Blood Feud or something like that. And then I'm like, y'all couldn't have picked 2 other family names to use. You had to go with the Hatfields and McCoys in that movie. Like, there's a lot of other families out there that have family feuds, okay?
Yeah.
That one has the Hatfields and McCoys families in it or whatever. So I don't know how many's on Tubi, but there's a handful of sequels for Pumpkinhead. Wow. So yep, Yep. I've probably seen all of them.
Wow.
But the first one shows you kind of how, not really how it all gets started, because, I mean, people know about Pumpkinhead before he makes his appearance in the movie. So it's been around for a while.
Okay.
This creature, this thing. It just kind of, I guess, comes into our modern time. So,
Oh, you know
okay.
what? Forgot to add the thing.
So my suggestion, the one that I was talking about earlier before you joined us, Pumar, was a movie that I've seen come up in my Facebook feed every now and then. And I keep going, I've got to write that down so I don't forget it, because I want to look into that.
Yeah.
It's an older movie. It's from 1986, I think. 86, 87. And it's rated PG-13, but a lot of people say it probably should be R.
Okay.
I've never seen this movie, and it's called The Gate.
Oh.
This is the one you were talking about, Pumara, right?
Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, that's
Right?
what I typed in. It says after his son's tragic dirt bike accident.
So what we're
Oh, we can only
seeing is the
see
Tubi landing page. You're not.
Yeah.
It's not whatever you're looking at is not what we see.
Okay.
It keeps flashing.
Yeah,
Right.
it's scrolling through like
Scrolling, right.
suggested for you, recommended. There you go.
Yes. 4? Wow.
Yeah, and there's probably more than 4. I don't really remember, but yeah, that
Wow.
first one there, all the way to the left, is the original one.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even want to know what Pumpkin Hole is. That's.
Huh.
Hey, Kurt, you'd know all about Pumpkin Hole, right? That's
Wow.
what he posts every Halloween. He's just like, it's just a pumpkin with a hole carved in it, and he says, "There, I'm done."
All you gotta do is warm it up, right?
No, no.
No.
No. All right.
Okay,
That's a different movie.
okay. So, what was the movie you just mentioned?
Well, did you want to do the premise to Pumpkinhead?
The Gate.
I mean, I don't know who. Y'all haven't seen Pumpkinhead? Y'all haven't seen that movie?
No. Nope, we have not.
Y'all continue to amaze me.
It's a pumpkin uses the head. Pumpkinhead.
No, not quite. Not quite.
So,
after
after
his
son's
son,
tragic dirt bike accident, a man conjures up a towering, vengeful, squash-like demon to destroy a group of unsuspecting teenagers.
Yeah, buddy.
it's always them damn teenagers.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have a few
80s
at
was
work.
crazy, wasn't they?
What was crazy?
The 80s.
Oh yeah, that was at 80.
That was
88. Okay.
Yeah.
What was your
They-
movie?
They love those mischievous
The Gate?
teenagers causing trouble in horror movies during the 1980s. The Gate. Nope, not Gape. Damn it, Dustin. Come on. We are not that kind of show, man.
What's the grin?
Is it this
Yeah,
one?
that's it. Yeah.
The Gate.
So it's 1986. Okay. 2 boys discover treasure. Is that what it says? Treasure in
A treasure in a hole in their backyard.
but
but
inadvertently open a gate to hell, unleashing demons into their home.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this movie, from what I can remember from this Facebook mentions, was that it was kind of a horror movie targeted towards kids.
What?
But it like something to the effect of the kids that this was targeted towards we're terrified of it.
Nice.
So, I mean, I wouldn't expect too much out of this. It's going to be pure 80s goodness. So we're talking the demons in it are probably stop motion, or a combination of stop motion and suit puppetry of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from this because I've never seen it and I've never heard of it until maybe a year ago. So this could be a hidden gem or a stinky turd. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
So okay, I have some alternates. We can call an audible if any of us feels like we should. Hotel Artemis, Dread, The Specialist, Hitman's Bodyguard, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, Blood and Bone, Sicario, Hurricane Heist, A Single Shot, Army of One. Those are the other ones I have written down to potentially watch.
Okay. Hurricane one's out for me because I just went through a hurricane. And I don't feel like watching a movie dealing with a hurricane. They're no fun to go through. The aftermath is no fun to go through.
Yeah.
Not during hurricane season.
I mean, we're
It's almost over.
go without power with 100% humidity outside, with 100-degree temperatures outside. It's
Million
not
bugs.
no running water, no electricity. That sucks. Take it from me.
I would just lay in the middle of my bed and just die.
No,
Probably.
no, can't do that. Because there's plenty to do after. There's a lot of work that you have to do.
Clean
There's a lot
up.
of crap out of the yard
Yeah.
you got to clear out. Because there's trash that got blown in, or branches off of the
Or gators
trees
that flew in your
you
backyard.
got to get out to the road. Or yeah, I haven't had an alligator.
Really?
No alligator
I
yet.
did.
In Ohio?
No, Goose Creek, South Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have gators. I saw
Yeah.
a gator last week driving
Yeah,
down.
he crawled through the fence because he lost his way because of the hurricane. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Climbed through the fence or climbed the fence? Because they
Climbed
can climb.
the fence.
Okay, I was going to say, a lot of people don't realize that. They can climb, especially if it's a chain link fence.
Yes,
they
that's
will
what we
climb
have.
that fence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I fed it peanut butter and jellies. I got caught, and the reptile control was called.
What did you call that thing again?
I don't remember. Fluffy. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't have him long enough.
No. But since the hurricane, it was Hurricane Francis. Since that happened, there's been an interesting uptick in wildlife sightings personally for myself and my family. There was a box turtle passed through our yard.
That's
and
right.
I just thought to myself, like, before the hurricane hit, I was sitting at our table looking at our backyard because I'd only seen one other box turtle pass through our backyard since we moved in where we live now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, it's kind of odd. I haven't seen any, pass through. And there's people mowing their lawns and all that kind of stuff around me. And we had seen a mama cat with her kittens taking refuge in our shed in the backyard. I accidentally scared her off, but she came back. She came back and got her babies, and we saw her move them. So I went out the next day to see if she moved them back, which is fine. I don't care. But she didn't. But that's when I noticed off in the corner, behind a power transformer, I see this box turtle. I'm going, holy crap. That's awesome, So I pick her up gently and bring her, and I show her, to my kids and wife. And my wife wanted to keep it. And I said, no, we're not keeping this. It's not right. And it's a full grown female. I know how to tell the difference between male and female turtles and tortoises. Learned that
You
at an
just
early
look up
age.
the dinosaur skirt.
Hey, you lift up the skirts. So, but I think it's a little late in the season. I don't think she was looking for a place to lay eggs. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. We stay warm almost all year long. We might have a couple of chilly months, even in winter.
Yeah.
But then, like, sometimes we get hit hard. But yeah, no, so I don't think it was a situation where she was looking for a place to lay eggs. But no, we put her down and she crawled off, and um, we saw we saw a spoonbill, I don't know, stork, crane. I don't know what I don't know. In the middle of the night, we were coming home from dance practice, and I just kind of happened to see it as I was driving down one of these back roads, going to pick up, my girls. And I'm like, holy crap, did I just see what I thought I saw? I mean, that's not a common sight for us here. Like, and it was by itself. So on the way back, I slowed down. It had moved a little bit, so I passed it and I caught it out of the corner of my eye again. So I turned around and, like, I'm sitting kind of crooked in the road with my headlights hitting it, showing my girls, and it's got its head in the water going back and forth, looking for stuff to eat or whatever. And I'm explaining how they do that. And it looked white. I mean, it's middle of the night, but they've got like a pinkish color to their feathers. And then we looked some up when we got home so they could see a better, like, hey, this is what you saw.
Yeah.
Also the same night, I saw there was a rat running across the road. We stopped at a four-way stop, and it was like, I'm going, oh my God. I see rabbits all the time down here, wild rabbits. There was a possum and a cat staring at each other in our backyard. But then probably the biggest one, and Dustin, I know you're like, all right, when are you going to get to the other one? We ended up, I guess, kind of rescuing a baby river turtle.
Oh.
That was also in our backyard, which is really strange because the closest canal here, and that's basically like a big drainage ditch that's always wet that leads to a larger body of water. The closest one to us is 4 blocks away. So if it came from there, it had quite the journey to stop at our backyard. And he did not look like he was in good shape. So we took him in, and I made an enclosure for him. He's got everything he could possibly want. I used to actually keep turtles at one point here in the recent past, and stopped doing that after we had kids. So this is kind of my kid's first experience with learning about, water turtles and all that kind of stuff. So, he's got a heater. It's a filtered system. He's got a heat lamp. He's got everything he should have. So anybody watching this going, oh, that's terrible. You shouldn't do that. You should put him back out. Keep in mind, he was severely dehydrated. He wouldn't eat. But now he's doing great. He's recovering. He loves his new habitat. We've named him Ronan. But yeah, he's doing really, really good. And it's if you know what a red ear slider looks like, it looks like one of those without the red patches on the sides of its heads. And this is going to sound vulgar, but it's serious. If you look it up, it's a real name for a real animal. They called them river cooters. Oh. All jokes aside, serious. So I believe that's what it is, because I looked up the baby images for that. I personally haven't had. I never caught one of those. Just the red ear sliders when I was a kid was a lot more common. I spent a lot of time at rivers and all that kind of stuff, and exploring the drainage ditches in the back of, the property where we would live at times and all that kind of stuff. So I'm catching lizards and snakes and weird fish out of the ditches and turtles and but yeah, he's doing really good. And my wife told me he ate really, really well. Yep, that's what he looks like. Especially that first picture there, the little one. That's exactly what he looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, the uptick in wildlife sightings, because I mean, I live in South Louisiana, so we see creatures all the time, but it's almost like it's condensed since the hurricane.
Right. Get some
So
good stuff.
it's been interesting, and I always
Yeah.
try to take those types of situations as learning experience for my children, because they don't do the things that I did when I was a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
I have girls, so they're not into going out and getting dirty and filthy in the ditches behind the house and all that kind of stuff, and fishing, and
Our
they're
girls
not into
would.
all of that.
Our girls will get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on the flip side, we've also fostered kittens that were abandoned by a mother cat, just inexperience or whatever. The mama cat just took off. So we if we see a creature that's in need, we do try to take care of it, And with cats, it's a little bit different. We did end up keeping one of the kittens. My wife got really attached to one, and that cat hates my guts. That
Maybe
cat
that's why
lives,
she kept it.
that cat lives by my good graces, and I can't touch the cat. It's like, no, she don't want to have anything to do with me.
Wow.
But yeah, I even named the cat. Like, I gave you your name. I said we could keep you. We didn't get to keep the two cats that I wanted to keep, which they were black cats. Go figure, right?
I love black
so
cats.
so the one that we kept, we ended up naming her Tiki, and I named her Tiki, Tiki, after my wife's Tiki hibiscus plants. They had these huge blooms on them and everything, and she loved those plants. They were some rare breed of hibiscus or whatever, long since dead now. But I was like, well, why don't we name her Tiki, and it stuck. But the two that I wanted to keep, the black ones, was a boy and a girl, and the little black female was named Pepper, and the female was named, and the male was named Lafitte, after Jean Lafitte from down here. He was a famous privateer. Some people say pirate, but he had government papers, which makes him a privateer. There's a difference.
Cool.
So, yeah, we ended up, we found homes for most of the kittens. We ended up having to turn those over to I don't want to say a pound, but
Animal shelter.
an animal shelter. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. But they found, homes. They went to good homes and everything. But those were the only two that we couldn't place ourselves, so we needed a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So let's wrap up the show here. Want to give a shout outs to our buddies that were just on. I have it written down somewhere. Action Figure Alliance, and it's on Wednesday, this 25th. So this coming Wednesday. So we'll be out here talking one more time before that happens. But there are these cool guys that have popped up in our chats before, and we got to talking. Zombie messaged them and was just like, "Hey, you want to come on our podcast?" And they jumped at the opportunity because they wanted to promote their show too, because why not? We shared the love, and we had them on last Monday. You can go watch that episode. We had a good time chatting. And That's going to be next Wednesday, the 25th. And the movies for next week are Pumpkinhead and The Gate. Not The Gate.
Sounds good.
The Gate.
Not the-
With a T, not a P.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm going to play us an ad, and then I'll hopefully wrap it up with something that I can actually coherently release from my mouth. Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? So anyway, until next time, Thunder Nerds Ho.
Do you have my espresso bean?
How'd you get out of prison?
Good lawyer. Enough, Doc. Where's my bean?
I don't have it.
Jimmy's been kidnapped. Help me, and I'll do anything.
What's in it for me?
Information about your mother. Detective Mickey Potatoes is back, and this time the stakes are higher than ever. A priceless espresso bean is missing and a life is on the line. Join Mickey in an all-ages noir adventure packed with comedy, suspense, and heart. Support Detective Potatoes, Lord of the Bean on Kickstarter, and unlock exclusive rewards. Books, poker chips, minifigures, and more. Back the campaign today and help bring this thrilling mystery to life. Support independent storytelling. Support Detective Potatoes.